Hi everyone, it's John Paul Mackey, but feel free to call me JP. I will be graduating this year from CSUMB with the Bachelor's in Music. And today I'm going to be discussing my capstone, which discusses misogyny in rap music. So as many of you might have heard, last year, the rapper Megan Thee Stallion was injured in a shooting. And afterwards, there was a lot of misogyny that came from black men, particularly black men in hip hop and rap. And this just continues this long standing tradition or phenomenon of misogyny in rap music. And after doing my research, I concluded that society's negative disposition towards black women and a lack of accountability among their male counterparts contribute to the prevalence of misogyny among African American male rappers. So, first, I decided to give a little context to both rap music and misogyny, starting with rap music. So, rap is actually the musical component of hip hop, and it's mostly dominated by men. And the original purpose was for good, to raise awareness of neighborhood issues and also to give audiences a good feeling, to give them a good positive experience. And some of its origins I noted were storytelling among African American and African cultures. Also the practice of trading insults like yo mama jokes and stuff, which pretty much turned into battle rap and stuff, as well as spoken word and poetry. Like if you listen to Gil Scott-Heron's poem, The Revolution Will Not Be Televised, that would be an early example of what would now be considered rap. You have a beat, but you also have someone reciting a poem to it, spoken dialogue. So rap developed in the Bronx in the 1970s. By the 1980s, it diversified its genres such as female rap, gangster rap, jazz rap. All kinds of rap permeated hip hop and rap culture. And even though there was misogyny in rap, it was much more covert than it is now. And a magazine said that rap is the most popular genre in America right now. And its biggest fans are usually young people and men. And as I mentioned earlier, men dominate hip hop and rap. But I also learned a surprising fact that the largest audience of rap music is white, which kind of baffled me because I always thought black people were the primary consumers of rap music. So, just a little thought. And critics of rap music have said that it's been deviating from the positive topics it usually had back in the day. And it also encourages debauchery today, and it encourages people to drop out of school and commit crime and put money over traditional values, all that kind of stuff. So now let's discuss misogyny. I learned that there are various forms of misogyny. Misogyny is basically the hatred of women, but there's a blogger that said that misogynoir is the hatred of black women, and more specifically, it's the stereotypes and exploitation of black women. And there's also a phenomenon called hegemonic masculinity, and this is the domination of women and the expectation that other men do the same, otherwise they'll be shamed. And some of the stereotypes of black women that I mentioned earlier, they would include the Jezebel, which is an attractive yet promiscuous woman. Usually she's light-skinned or mixed or something like that. There's the Mammy, which would be described as an overweight, unattractive, usually dark-skinned, bossy caretaker. And then there's the Sapphire, which is described as this manipulative, gold-digging, or hypergamous woman. And that also applies to this baby mama stereotype. And some of the influences of misogyny against black women, it places them at the bottom of the social hierarchy. And oftentimes it leads to them experiencing disproportionate amounts of violence and rape. And another example is that they might have unwanted pregnancies and they might be discouraged from getting an abortion because men want them to take care of the baby when black men don't want to take care of their own kids. The people who create these unwanted pregnancies. And of course, it's led to very negative media portrayals of these black women. So now let's talk about misogyny and rap combined. So what I've noticed about misogyny in rap music is that it hasn't decreased over the years. It's actually either increased or stagnated. It stayed the same. And there are a whole bunch of factors that contribute to it. One of them being a lack of resources for black men, so they have to compensate for it with just disrespecting black women and taking it out on them. And also, it really doesn't receive enough backlash that it should. Like, even the songs that are uplifting black women, supposedly, don't really criticize the misogyny in the genre. And women play a lot of roles of misogyny in rap music. Aside from being the target of it, they also tend to support these musicians, like go to their concerts and stream their music, despite the fact that these artists are disrespecting them. They also, well, some of these rappers, these female rappers, often exhibit what people would consider masculine behaviors. And sometimes they might even objectify themselves just to make it in the music industry. But other times, some black women might reinforce this concept of respectability politics. Like, you gotta be modest, you gotta be pure, you gotta dress well, you gotta act right, whatever that means. And some people try to dismiss this concept that there's misogyny in rap music by saying that there are bigger issues like racism and police brutality. Other people might dismiss the idea that rap is misogynistic because they just like the genre, they appreciate it a lot. And oftentimes, some of these rappers might silence these black women from speaking out, like Nelly, when he basically dismissed these concerns from college students about his tip drill video and a very infamous scene. So, just who is responsible for misogyny in rap music? People have blamed rappers, the women involved, the media, the record labels, but overall, I think that the majority of the blame falls on the collective of black men. So now let's discuss a few common themes. I'm going to try to make this as quick as possible. One of the common themes, actually the most common theme I found in misogynistic rap, is objectification. Treating women like they're objects. This can include colorism or the preference of light skin over dark skin. It can also include pretty graphic descriptions of degrading sex and also casual or unprotected sex as a symbol of masculinity. It could also mean treating women as sex objects and describing or even bragging about pimping and pimp culture and prostitution as well. And it also leads into music videos. And this is where the objectification of women really comes to full form. Then you have derogatory terms. Some of these derogatory terms might include the B word and the H word, and these stem from the stereotypes I mentioned earlier. Like, the B word would come from the sapphire stereotype, which is manipulative, angry, gold digger, and the H word comes from the Jezebel stereotype. She's promiscuous, she sleeps around, all that stuff. And there were several other terms that I saw that I will definitely not repeat, but they were pretty vile, and I just felt like I needed to include them in my paper because it's very important. And some of these rappers might claim that, oh, I'm not trying to disrespect these women by calling them these wholesome H's and these classy B's, but at the end of the day, That's still disrespectful. You shouldn't be calling these women that. Then you have distrust and suspicion of women. Some of these rappers might claim that women are gold diggers, even though black women unintentionally play up that stereotype by claiming that they're hypergamous. They like to date above their income level, which I don't see a problem with that. But also, these men might be fearing what would happen after they have sex with these women, particularly unprotected sex. They might fear they have a disease, or even scarier for them, they might fear they have to pay child support for 18 years because their girlfriend got pregnant. And the least common or the least prevalent yet most disturbing theme I found among these themes of misogynistic rap is violence against women. They can include aggressive sex inciting violence, these rappers personifying themselves as violent, and even graphic details of assault, rape, murder, and even worse, I saw some lyrics involving crimes against children. So, yeah, this is where things take a very dark turn. Then I looked into the effects of misogynistic rap. One such effect is desensitization. In other words, I probably compare it to brainwashing. Sometimes the music can be so alluring and so enjoyable that you might ignore the lyrics or the problematic lyrics in the song. Also, providing platforms to rappers might just lead people to believe, hey, this seems normal, when it really isn't. Also, people might not care about misogyny in rap because media outlets that report it, they might not trust them. And also, if you were younger, you might not be able to understand the misogyny in rap music unless you're older or something like that. Also, misogynistic rap reduces the self-esteem of black women, especially with the colorism and the derogatory terms. They can definitely make dark-skinned women feel less than. And even worse, a lot of these black-owned media companies, such as BET, they might even portray that. So, yeah, this is really getting into people's heads, and it's really messing with them. And also, misogynistic rap has a detrimental effect on people's health and behavior. Some people, some young boys in particular, may imitate the stuff they hear and see and might treat girls and women with disrespect. Also, this music or this phenomenon teaches kids to be hard or tough or something like that, and that could lead to pretty disturbing acts of violence and assault and just disrespect toward women. And there's even a belief that misogynistic rap can incite violence against women. Additionally, this misogynistic rap may reflect different gender roles in society and reinforce different stereotypes of black women in general. But also, misogyny and violence sell. They sell not just money, but also records. They sell merchandise. And even some rappers that don't even believe in this misogynistic tendencies will exhibit them just to make a quick buck. They might sell their soul. But who's really profiting? The record labels. And it sucks. Also, these rappers who exhibit misogyny might be rewarded with radio airplay. They might be featured in music videos and movies promoting their misogynistic beliefs. And they might even get industry awards like Grammys, VMAs, Billboard Awards, AMAs, all kinds of stuff. And BET and Soul Train Awards. And there might be a belief that other genres included, like pop, rock, and country, they might have misogynistic tendencies. And they have even incorporated rap into it, so it kind of makes sense. But the misogyny in these genres pale in comparison to that in hip hop and rap, as studies have shown. But there might be some good news. As people get older, they become more aware of the misogyny in rap music and they can criticize it. And it's best that they start with these misogynistic mainstream rappers such as Rick Ross, who bragged about drugging and raping a woman. And maybe that'll trickle down to the smaller rappers and they'll stop exhibiting misogyny in their lyrics. And there have also been different campaigns against misogyny, such as the one specifically targeted at Nelly when he released that tip drill video and had an infamous scene with him swiping a credit card down a woman's behind. And people weren't having that. Essence Magazine basically had a campaign that was combating misogynistic rap, probably in direct response to that. And also hip-hop feminism has played a role in combating misogyny in rap music. They enjoy hip-hop, but they also criticize it at the same time. And they reject the idea of respectability politics because there's no such thing as a good woman versus a bad woman or something like that, because everybody has nuances. And also, hip-hop feminism provides safe spaces for women to discuss their issues with rap music, which I think is pretty cool. Also, female rappers exhibit a lot of pretty positive topics, such as these different personas, like the queen mother, the fly girl, the sis with attitude, the lesbian. And it just shows that they have different personalities. And they also chide objectification and misogyny. They empower their fellow women. And they also assert their boundaries, particularly regarding their sexuality. For example, Lil Kim and Nicki Minaj and some of these female rappers today. So what can we do to combat misogyny? We can definitely educate kids about music and have them listen to it and criticize it thoroughly. We can also promote male rappers who talk about positive relationships with their fellow men rather than just negative relationships and beefs. Can also empower everyone in hip-hop, not just men, but also women, other races, other sexualities, people of all abilities and ages. But definitely we should start elevating women and taking ownership of our culture. And I'm talking about Black people. There's just a suggestion that we should definitely take ownership of our culture and take back the positive aspects of hip-hop. And definitely promote these positive topics in music videos because visual components are great additions to audio. Also giving Black women a voice and withdrawing support from musicians who exhibit misogyny in their music. That'll probably teach them. And finally, recognizing the origins of misogyny in rap so that we do not need to repeat history. And for future research, I suggested that we should look up homophobia in rap, the engagement of youth with their culture, their local culture, as well as positive lyrics and not just negative lyrics in rap music, because everything needs a balance, right? So in conclusion, if we rebuke the negative topics that permeate rap music, particularly misogyny, and if everyone takes part in it, not just Black women, but Black men, even Black children, and people of all ages, then we can definitely reduce or even end the misogyny in rap once and for all. So, to wrap this up, I would also like you to check out my EP. It has topics pertaining to derogatory terms, music videos, prostitution, objectification, and stereotypes of Black women, all in one 5-track EP that features me singing and rapping, just like a lot of today's rappers. So I use various sources for my capstone, and they proven to be reliable and very helpful. Thank you to everyone involved in this project. And until next time, this is John Paul Mackey. See you soon.